let's dive right into the topic and learn about monitoring the multi cloud infrastructure. We begin the session with a quick introduction about Site 24/7. From there, we discuss about why one must monitor the multi cloud infrastructure and above all, why a third party tool is essential for monitoring the dynamic cloud. Then we move on to look at a case study of an MSP, Zylka Pharma, and how Site 24/7 has helped them manage the multi cloud infrastructure. During challenging time as in the current pandemic, the businesses that fully committed themselves to digital transformation are likely to be in a better position to support mobile working and team collaboration. Since the business now are reshaping and reinventing themselves, it appears that the wake-up call for digital transformation is finally here. So this is the cloud infrastructure service market in the last 2 quarters. The pandemic fails to dent the aggressive growth in the cloud spending, with half of the Q1 and the Q2 market belonging to Amazon and Microsoft. The market share of public clouds has grown to 30 billion USD in the first 2 quarters of 2020, with half of that revenue seen by the two leaders, Amazon Web Services and Microsoft Azure. Digital transformation is about finding out which system has solid integration to share data across the applications, breaking the silos, and creating a more flexible ecosystem. Since the cloud infrastructure helps in all that, the shift to cloud has accelerated digital transformation. So, the graph that you see here is the 2020 Cloud Computing Survey by IDG, which provides an insight into various organizations' total IT infrastructure. It provides us with an insight into the cloud infrastructure that is currently available and in about the 18 months of time. One interesting finding is that around 55% of the organizations currently use multiple clouds, with 21% of them saying that they use two or more clouds. The statistic clearly informs that the adoption of cloud infrastructure has skyrocketed and the shift to cloud is going to continue. Well, in spite of all this commotion surrounding the public clouds, there are still few market challenges faced by industries across the globe. So, what are they? The chief concern in cloud is a lack of end to end cloud visibility, along with other challenges like governance, managing multi clouds, and cloud cost control. I'm sure each one of you will have resonate with at least one of these challenges. In fact, the study of IDC Enterprise Panel suggests some of the common challenges or issues of the cloud or on demand model. Evidently, security, availability, and performance are the chief concerns while moving to a cloud, with almost 83% of the users concerned on the availability and 82% of the users concerned on the cloud resource performance. So, this is exactly why we recommend that you monitor your cloud resource and obtain deep insights to address any security, availability, or performance related concern. When I said about monitoring the cloud resource, the default option that comes into our mind is the native cloud provider tools for monitoring. But can a cloud provider tool provide you with the insight to manage and track your multi cloud? Also, when you opt for a third party tool, how much value does a third party tool add to your cloud hosted infrastructure? I can give you the answer for that. Third party tools like Site 24/7 provides more advanced and deep down cloud management and monitoring solution. So with a third party tool, you get to avoid the siloed nature of native cloud provider tools and monitor a multi cloud infrastructure. You can also manage the logs across the multi cloud infrastructure to process and troubleshoot them with ease. Get alerted on the cloud resource consumption and set thresholds at resource level. You can also obtain a full fledged end user experience monitoring. So, shall we check out why Site 24/7 can be your perfect third party monitoring tool? To help you understand that, let's consider the case study of the Zylka Pharma, a managed service provider or an MSP associated with Site 24/7, who had recently shifted its workloads to the cloud. So, Zylka Pharma is a Mumbai based pharmaceutical company who acquired 4 to 5 companies in the recent past, and it has helped them increase the global footprint. But now they are faced with a challenge. Most of the companies they acquired across the globe had a traditional data center. Although we know that each of the data centers is a little different, the average cost per year to operate large data center is usually between 10 million to 25 million USDs. And you may ask, where is the bulk of the money going? This might surprise you, and a whopping 58% of that cost will be for heating, air conditioning, property, sales tax, and the labor cost. And managing these data centers, especially when they are spread across the globe, is challenging. So that's when Zalka Pharma decided to move their workloads to a multi cloud infrastructure. With cloud data centers, Zalka Pharma was obtaining the traffic of the customers from different products directly to its cloud. Since the infrastructure is now hosted in the cloud, it has also fixed the scalability issue when the traffic increases. Well, how did Site 24/7 help Zalka Pharma to monitor its multi cloud infra? Site 24/7 is a single tool that can be used to monitor the dynamic cloud ecosystem. With Site 24/7 multi cloud monitoring, you can monitor the metrics of each resource in AWS, Azure, or GCP service. So, we learned how Zylka used Site 24/7 to gain the customer's trust and migrate the workloads with ease. So, shall we move on to see how Site 24/7 helped Zylka to overcome the cloud challenges? We already discussed that one of the chief concerns for cloud user is availability. When you have resources spread out in the multiple clouds, it becomes hardest to keep track of individual resource availability, right? So this is why we have an incredible knock and inventory dashboard. So with the knock view of individual cloud resources, you can stay updated about any resource non-availability or malfunctioning. Hence, at a single glance, you can detect the availability issues and take corrective measures to compact them. So, since we offered Zalka with a knock view of the entire cloud infrastructure, he was able to sit back and relax while we took care of his cloud infra. Inventory dashboards in general help you with providing a high intensity snapshot of your cloud ecosystem. We have inventory dashboards for AWS, Azure, and GCP. What you see in front of you is the AWS inventory dashboard, which offers a unified platform to view the overall resource count and the resource metadata. The dashboard provides a breakdown of the active monitored resource, the resource history, the detailed enabled services, and the resource breakdown by region, the resource history, as well as a guidance report. So, as we move along the section, I'll be explaining what guidance report is. We also have an Azure inventory dashboard. You can view the service type by hovering on a section. The daily usage of the critical resources will be displayed along with the total number of resources under a service type. Next is the GCP inventory dashboard that you have in front of you. Well, shall we check out the Site 24/7 UI to understand this inventory dashboard better? So this is the home screen of the Site 24/7 console. We need to click the cloud icon in here in the left navigation bar, where you have three individual columns: AWS, Azure, and GCP. Let's click the GCP icon here, and by default, you'll be taken to the infrastructure dashboard. Let's click the inventory dashboard. This provides you with the GCP resources based on the service type, the daily usage of the individual GCP resources, and the inventory details of individual GCP resources. So let's check out the storage of a GCP resource. And here you have a drop down to choose if you have multiple GCP accounts in your console configured. And we also have a group by option that allows you to choose the inventory report according to the group by option that you set. So let's check it out according to the location. So in the group by location, you can see the four cloud storage in GCP at the US location with different details against it. So in order to choose which details you have, we have a table icon here in the right corner. So based on that, you can select the time created or the last updation that has happened for an individual GCP resource. And you have only those details that has been ticked here. And in order to share this, you have a share this open option in the right side with options to export the CSV, export it as a PDF, or email it right from the client. So that was a short demo on the GCP inventory dashboard. Let's get back to learn how Zylka Pharma has leveraged multi-cloud monitoring. So Zylka Pharma had its infrastructure hosted in the cloud. But as their infrastructure grew with time, they had encountered yet another set of challenge. How to optimize their cloud resource was the pressing question. In order to answer such question, we provided Zylka with the best practice recommendations for its cloud resource. As I said previously, guidance report is our in-house best practice recommendations that are provided for AWS and Azure cloud environments. Presently, there are 120 plus recommendations for AWS and 20 plus recommendations for your Azure environment. So with AWS Azure guidance report, you get a categorized best practice recommendation based on the cost, availability, and security with three different severity levels like high, moderate, and low. Well, does it all seem quite theoretical? Allow me to show you the UI to understand the guidance report better. So let's click the AWS icon here. So these are the different services that are available for an AWS resource configured. And in the left navigation, you have a guidance report option. So this is the dashboard that provides you with the best practice recommendations. So currently there is only one single security available here because that is the only pressing question that we have. And based on that, we have a high level severity present here. So using the volume ID of the Amazon EBS encryption issue, you can go and individually configure the Amazon EB. So with guidance report, we also offered Zylka with information on all the IAM users or IAM roles who had a full admin privilege. Considering these information, they were able to restrict the access to only few members of the organizations. So this way, Zylka was able to fortify his AWS cloud infrastructure against vulnerabilities. And if you want to share this guidance report, you again have the share this option where you can export it as a PDF or email it right from the client. Or you can also choose to schedule the report to be delivered, where you can provide a display name and the report type. And if you want the frequency of the guidance report to be delivered only monthly once, you can choose the frequency as well as the time and the groups to which you need to send the report to. So that was a small demo on the guidance report. So with best practice recommendations for multi-cloud monitoring, Zylka MSP was able to obtain a categorized recommendation to optimize the multi-cloud. And did you know that Zylka was able to optimize the cost up to 90% and availability up to 98% and was able to close all the security related loopholes? We all know that log management in the cloud is a better practice than setting up on premises solutions. So, when firms like Zylka chose multiple clouds and deployed the different applications into each service, the task of logging can turn out to be even more challenging. So, let's check out how we help Zylka manage the logs in a multi cloud environment. So, you need to again navigate here to the app logs icon present here. So in the log type, you can choose the logs which you want to view. I've chosen the Azure logs and I've set a custom duration from for 2 weeks time. So this is the Azure logs that has been processed in the last 2 weeks. And to get more details, we also have a perform a query language search. So using this, you can key in the cloud environment from which you would want to manage the logs. So if it is the AWS logs, you can key in the AWS logs within the double quotes. And we also have alert save a search section. So there might be few scenarios where the frequently used search queries need to be saved, where you can use this particular option in the client. And we also have an alert section that allows you to set thresholds and associate alerts with user group, which helps you to thwart the critical operational issues right when it begins. And finally, we have a dashboard view that provides you with colorful charts and different widgets. So shall we check out the dashboard view of the Azure logs? Again, changing the duration to the last. So this is the about the dashboard view of the Azure logs in the last 2 weeks. So you have a drill down view of the top 10 resource groups as well as the status for the Azure logs. So this way you get a bird's eye view of the Azure logs that has been processed. And this is exactly the repetition of what you just saw now in the client. So when it comes to mundane and repetitive tasks, it is better to automate them. It is the same case with the repetitive task in the cloud as well. The schedule automation feature allows the Zylker to automate this repetitive task in the multi-cloud ecosystem. One of the common use case Zylker leverage is to start and stop the instances at a specific time. You might be a gaming studio who performs compute intensive 3D rendering only at the night times, or a telecom provider who runs multi day bill calculations at the start of a month. We understand that you run your instances only at those times, and with schedule automation feature, Site 24/7 provides you the capability to start and stop instances like EC2, RDS, or Azure VM at a specific time. Needless to say, cloud is expensive, but if you're looking for ways to optimize your cost, the schedule automation feature can help you save few bucks. So, other than the listed features, there are a few more features that aided Zylker to monitor its multi cloud infrastructure. Shall we check them out? Inside 24/7, you can set a single tag named group tag, which can be used to monitor the entire application in the cloud. Yes, you heard it right. With group tag, you can add multiple monitors like Azure VMs, RDS, EC2 instance, or any number of monitors to check the resource availability. This way, when Zylka wanted to monitor one application in three different environments, they assigned one tag for development, one for testing, and one for prod environment and obtained the resource availability in one glance. Allow me to show in the client how to add a monitor group. Let's again go back to the home screen. So here you have the monitor groups option. These are the different monitor groups that has been created along with the status that you can see here. And in the top, you have add monitor group, which allows you to create a group or create a group using templates. So once you create a monitor group, allow me to show you the business view. So this is the AWS infrastructure business view. With monitor groups, you can view the entire AWS infrastructure in a single tag. And when you add more monitors, you can see the monitor count in the active monitors stage. Hence, by leveraging the monitor group function, you get a bird's eye view of the availability of your cloud resources in a particular environment. I hope that this is indeed a useful view to track your cloud infrastructure. We also have an AI powered monitoring in our toolkit for your multi cloud infrastructure that enables you to predict when a DB instance will run out of space. Since Zalka Pharma was rapidly growing, this is how Site 24/7 helped them with their futuristic scaling needs. We provided Zalka with an estimate on when the RDS DB instance will run out of disk space by viewing the forecast chart for free storage space. When the free storage space is predicted to go below 10% of the total available space, Zalka was able to start archiving the files to avoid future bottlenecks. With all these features, Zalka Pharma had turned out to be yet another happy and loyal customer with Site 24/7. In order to have your cloud cost under control, we also have an exclusive cloud cost management software named as Cloud Spend. Using Cloud Spend, you can create budgets to alert you when there's an overspending in your cloud budget. So now you can sit back and relax as you leverage the power of monitoring as well as cost management from a single roof. In addition to the multi cloud monitoring we provide, Site 24/7 can also be used to monitor your on premises infrastructure. Yes, you heard it right. Using Site 24/7, you can monitor your multi cloud as well as your on premises infrastructure that is hosted in the Linux or Windows OS. The main advantage that you get by using Site 24/7 is that you can use a single customized dashboard wherein you can simply drag and drop the metrics that you require, be it from the cloud or from an on prem infra. So, as we near the end of this session, let's take a quick look at the key takeaway from this webinar. Monitoring your multi cloud infrastructure can be challenging, but with the right third party tool, the process can be hassle free. Ensure that the third party tools like Site 24/7 provides you with a knock or inventory dashboard, best practice recommendations that is categorized, manage the logs across the multiple clouds, schedule automations like start or stop instances at a specific time, tags to monitor the cloud resource, AI powered monitoring with forecast charts, and finally, having the ability to monitor from a single dashboard. Now that we have completed the deep dive into the Site 24/7's multi cloud monitoring toolkit, let's take a quick look at the complete monitoring list that we boast. As a full stack solution, Site 24/7 also provides you with other options to monitor different parts of your infrastructure. A list of third party integrations that we have integrated with Site 24/7 is shown here. Integrations like Microsoft Teams, SDP MSP, ConnectWise, PagerDuty, Jira, ServiceNow, Amazon Event Bridge, OpsGenie, and Slack allow you to make conversations easier. Site 24/7 lets you stay connected from anywhere and anytime. We provide you with connectivity on the go by making our apps available in iPhone, Android, mobile web, and desktop. So, thank you all for your time. I hope you found this webinar to be informative and interesting. Thank you once again.